can hear, they are very excited, expectant to see the team. A while ago, a lady walked with a sign that said, "We would never have been there without Rich Carlos's toe." So these people have nothing but kind words and love and affection for the Broncos. I'm going to talk to somebody right now who's been here for a couple of hours. What's your name and why are you out here today?
My name is Brenda Kennedy. I'm here to support my Broncos. We love them.
There's nothing more that I can add to that. Thousands of people here, and they're just waiting for the Broncos. And if you have any idea on exactly when they'll be here, you could help us all out by telling us. So, reporting live from 17th and Larimer, Peter Rogat, News Center 4. Back to Larry.
Peter, one thing we should straighten out is this has been a very inexact afternoon all the way through, and we really don't know exactly what time the Bronco Parade is going to start. Originally, it was scheduled for 4 o'clock, and now it's been bumped to around 5. But if it starts anywhere between now and 6 o'clock, we'll interrupt everything else and we'll go out to the parade. So you have to stand by, Peter.
I'm not going anywhere, Larry.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Lots of anxious fans waiting like we all are right now. And let's go now to Stephen Clark at the City County building where that parade will end. Hello, Stephen.
How you doing? It is very loud out here right now. You've got Timothy P. and his band playing behind us here, entertaining a very large crowd. And there's a lot of festivities going on. It's a beautiful day for it. We can take a look at the crowd out here. It's something tremendous. Police right now tell us they think there are about 5,000 people jammed into this area in front of the city and county building at this point. Unfortunately, it's hard to get a count, and there's still people streaming in every minute. We heard a traffic report from our reporter, John Hartley, a couple minutes ago, and he said it is jam-packed every direction around us, here and all the way up along the parade route. All these people here will miss the parade in person, but they will have one advantage. They'll be able to watch it on a big screen TV. You're looking at it right here. This TV set is courtesy of Channel 4. We'll be broadcasting all of our coverage of the parade on the big screen, so the people here in this audience will not miss the parade. Of course, they've got the best seat in the house because they will be at the end of the parade. Now, what's going to happen here is the parade will wind its way up 17th, then come south on Broadway along that big orange stripe, and then it will come around behind the city and county building. The players will be taken from behind the building and through the rotunda, and then they'll show up on the stage over here behind me, where all these people are right now. At that point, Ron Zappolo and Bob Martin of KOA Radio will be doing some introductions, and they'll be handling this program today. And they'll be introducing the mayor and the governor and some other various people from the Denver Broncos organization. They'll present an award to the Denver Broncos. And then the moment everybody is looking for, the Denver Broncos themselves will be out here to speak and talk to the crowd. At this point, looking at the enthusiasm of the crowd, it's very hard to believe that this team did not win the Super Bowl yesterday, because even though they're number 2 on the program, Larry and Linda, it appears the number 1 in Denver's heart. Reporting live from the City County building, I'm Stephen Clark, News Center 4. Larry, Linda.
All right, thank you very much. Well, one more place to go.
Up.
Yes.
Go up in Chapter 4.
There's Jillian Bryce standing by right now. What's the view from there, Jillian?
It's a wonderful view. What a great day for a parade. I wish I could hear the cheers of the crowd from down here. We are right now flying over lower downtown and taking a look at the staging area along, I believe it's Blake Street. You can see some of the marching bands there getting into their formations. All they're waiting for is for the Broncos to arrive, and then I'm sure they'll be ready to go. We can also see this long balloon, orange and blue balloon concoction. Looks kind of like a, I don't know, a snake or a lizard or something like that. Right next to it is the orange RTD bus that also will be in the parade. And we can see that the Clydesdales are lined up on 17th Street between Blake and Market, looks like. They're all starting to move forward a little bit to the start of the parade. I don't know if that means anything or not, or if they're just trying to give the folks in back of them some room. There's somebody swirling an orange and blue banner down there. Oh, and they're all waving at us, too. Sure wish we could hear the noise of the crowd from up here. We'll be back to you with more reports as the parade gets started. Reporting live from Copter 4, Jillian Rice, News Center 4, Larry and Linda.
All right.
Thank you.
Jillian, keep us informed. You've got the best perch there. You'll know better when it starts than anybody else, all right?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jillian. Perfect day for it, though.
Wonderful weather.
Really picked nice weather there.
Well, we'll be pushing 60 over the next couple of days. We'll talk about Colorado.
Increment there where I was betting $30.
Week that we were tuned to our TV sets to watch the launch of the space.
Morning. Done with your Denver Post yet?
Chuck, why don't you just get your own?
Why, we're neighbors. Neighbors share.
They've just come east of Larimer as they head toward Lawrence. The fans are really going crazy here. There are some baton twirlers.
Better.
in a frenzy here because they know the Broncos are not far away, and this is what they've been waiting for all afternoon, and they are about to enjoy their big moment of the day to tell the Broncos just how much they love them and support them in spite of the unfortunate Super Bowl finish yesterday. I'll throw it back to you, Larry.
All right, Peter, we understand you're going to probably be having some trouble hearing us out there, so we'll be
fine now.
Oh, really? Okay, the crowd is just behaving itself at the moment, but when the cheering comes up, I understand it's a little bit hard, but we'll be passing it out to you from time to time, Peter.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's go to a break now, and we'll be back. Linda, go ahead.
We'll be back in just a moment with more on First News Raptors.
Through the buildings, and it's not cold at all, and these fans are just having a terrific afternoon. We're going to throw it now to Stephen Clark, who is standing by at Civic Center Park. Stephen?
Well, Peter, we're standing at the other end of the orange striped road here at the City and County building, where there's a crowd now. A couple minutes ago, police estimated this crowd at about 5,000. I would suspect there are a lot more people than that here now. They've been streaming in very steadily for the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Live entertainment going on right now on the podium behind me, where in just a little while the Broncos themselves will be standing to talk to this crowd. So far, looking at the enthusiasm of this crowd, you would not believe that it could possibly be cheering on a team that did not win the Super Bowl yesterday. But I've been talking to some people in the crowd, and they said, hey, we've been Bronco fans for a long time, and we're not going to stop right now. So a very enthusiastic crowd from this end here waiting for that parade. So we'll all be anxiously watching the screens here. We hope to get on the big screen behind the stage all our live coverage of the parade, so the people here waiting at the end can watch what's going on at the beginning. So we'll keep you updated here from the City County building and when the Broncos do finally get here. Reporting live from the City County building, I'm Stephen Clark, Center 4. Peter?
Thank you very much, Stephen. What we're looking at now is the Chatfield High Marching Band crossing Larimer Street.
It's incredible.
Skirts, and lucky for them, it is a warm afternoon. Chatfield High School Marching Charger Band from Littleton, and they are followed by a motorized stagecoach, which is people inside are throwing out cut candy to the kids, and I can tell you there are a number of kids who are here this afternoon. Folks have come from all over the city. I spoke with somebody a few minutes ago who's here from England, and he can't believe what he's seeing for the team that lost the Super Bowl, and he said, you must have some kind of fans here, and indeed we certainly do. Following the Chatfield High Marching Band is an RTD orange bus, and they're followed by CSU cheerleaders. So really, this is a statewide celebration. Folks from all over the state, CSU, high schools, private industry, Budweiser, we all know, doing their part to sponsor this parade. And so many fans just watching with big smiles on their faces. They can't wait to tell the Broncos how they feel about them, win or lose. And it does make you wonder just what this would have looked like had the Broncos won yesterday. We can only imagine. Another testament to the loyalty of Denver Broncos fans as they come out and greet others. Cut candy coming out to the kids now. Some ticker tape was starting to come out from one of the skyscrapers just to the east of me where Denver National Bank is, but we haven't really seen that yet. I don't think that's from this part of the parade. The RTD bus says, "Go Broncos," and the fans here do not need much in the way of prompting to demonstrate their affection for the team. We can also see off in the distance is the North Glen High Marching Band. There's some even some orange in their color, and that's certainly appropriate for the afternoon here. I would say many thousands, tens of thousands of fans lining the route along 17th Street where we are at Larimer. RTD salutes the Denver Broncos is what the bus says, and the fans are waving and screaming as the bus goes by, and they are now being treated to the North Glen High Marching Band, which will be followed by some miniature horses, which I understand were held over from the stock show just for today to take part in this parade. So everybody from agriculture to academia, the universities, the high schools, private industry taking part in this salute to the Denver Broncos, a team that undoubtedly enjoys the most loyal and the most affectionate group of fans anywhere in this country. If there's anything more loyal than this, it'd certainly be difficult to imagine, considering that the team lost yesterday in Pasadena. I think we're looking from a high shot now, and you can just see how the fans are lining 17th Street. Tens of thousands, to be sure. I'm not even going to guess an overall figure. But the fans, there's some ticker tape coming from the bridges, from the top of One Barclay Plaza, where Citicorp Savings is, and the fans are really being caught up in the moment here And I would imagine it is not too long before the Broncos will be coming by in special buses that took them from Stapleton Airport. So at this point, we will go back to the studio to Larry and Linda, and as soon as we see the Broncos, we will let you know, and we'll let you have a look at them, folks.
Thank you, Peter. Good observations from you there at ground level, but one thing we wanted to throw out to you is who's going to clean up that mess? You have any idea?
The boss has not assigned me to that detail, Larry, so I'm going to assume someone else will.
All right.
Peter, it looks like people that are not down there watching it down on the ground are in buildings throwing ticker tape and leaning out and seeing it through windows up there. So there's lots of people that we can't even count that are really taking part in this parade.
I think there are a lot of people watching from windows of the buildings, and that's really a best vantage spot because things have gotten quite crowded here on the sidewalk. So if anybody's watching on TV in your office and you're near a window, stay there. You've got a great view and watch it on Channel 4.
It's also rather convenient that this happened to be a little bit late this afternoon, Peter. I think it was scheduled to earlier go for about 4 o'clock. A lot of people wouldn't have been off work. Now it's just hitting around the rush hour, and all it's going to do is prolong the rush hour, I think.
Yeah, you know, you make a good point, Larry. We were here at 2 or 2:30, and there were very few people here. And you could see as 3:34 came along, obviously crowds started showing up. Working people who got off from work, but also a lot of people brought their kids here, a lot of housewives, a lot of young mothers with their kids, some nannies and babysitters bringing their kids here. They've come from all over, working and non-working, and we've just seen a tremendous cross-section of the community.
You know, organizing something like this takes much time, but this one has really happened pretty quickly. So we should thank all those people that have organized it and gotten it together, because it really looks like it's got some good order to it.
Boy, kudos to them. You can say that again, Linda. We're now looking, by the way, at the Cherry Creek High School marching band, the Bruins, in their very dark blue and red uniforms in the front, and then the girls with the flags in white and red. They're followed by the band members, and I think the buses are right behind them. If I'm not mistaken, those buses have the Denver Broncos in them, and it is just going to be a couple of minutes before the folks here at 17th and Larimer get a look at their heroes. And I think I see some heads out the windows of the buses. I can see some arms waving to fans. We'll get a better look, and I'll be able to identify some of those players for you in just a minute or two. If you have anything else you want to ask right now, we've got a minute or two.
You know, it was just about a month ago, Peter, that Linda and I were out there doing a parade downtown, and all we could do was shiver. It was really something, but I think there's been more than a warm welcome here for these Broncos coming back today.
Yeah, Larry, we want to thank you for that. You know, all those people who say, tell Larry to give us some warm weather. You did well, Larry.
I wasn't fishing for any compliments.
Right now, and it's getting very loud, but I'm going to try and pick out some players. Let's just listen to the fans for a second or so, and when I get in position, I'll identify some players for you. I can see Mark Cooper here in the first bus in a pink shirt, and Ricky Hunley is waving to the crowd from the back of the bus. Ricky has a position where he can wave to the crowd, and he's giving them the #1 sign right now. The second bus, I can see Steve Sewell.
Peter, in that first bus, one of the Broncos that you might have thought was a Bronco was not a Bronco. That was our governor, I believe, riding in the first bus. Yeah, next to him was Mayor Pena.
Looks like Bronco families are actually taking part in this. Not just the team players, but all the families are actually taking part.
There's Tom Jackson. I don't know if you folks can see him or just saw him. He's getting a real welcome from the crowd here.
There was an empty one. There's a seat in there for you, Peter.
You can travel home in that one, Peter.
Oh, what a crowd. Now, is this going to be the end of the parade as it's moving through there? Are the Broncos the last item on the menu for today?
Yeah, I believe so, Larry. There are some police trucks or mini trucks with flashing lights. And I think that's just really for crowd security.
Okay.
Some balloons and all that, and then some city vehicles, some large snow removal trucks, which we don't need today. But that's just to provide security. So I think the main part of the parade is moving east towards Broadway at this point, Larry and Linda.
All right, an impressive sight. And it's not over by any means. We'll have Stephen Clark sitting there at the, I don't want to call it the finish line, but
The cone is shaped $40 billion. It was fast, but it wasn't
As long as it takes to tell these Broncos what we think and have them say a few words as well.
Those lights look orange to me.
Yes, I think they are.
I think they are. Isn't that beautiful? That's a nice sight. A nice way to welcome home the Broncos.
It's nice to see something besides a blizzard bring Denver together, isn't it?
And look at all the people getting close, trying to get close to the buses just to let them know how they feel.
So far, we've had an estimate of 5,000 people and growing at the Civic Center Park at the end of the parade, but your guess is as good as ours as to how many people are lining the streets of Denver. That's 10 and 20 people deep, as best I can tell, on
like
either side.
They have grown. They have grown. That whole crowd just keeps growing.
Now, if Dad's a little late getting home for dinner tonight, it's probably because
There's the first
of a big crowd downtown. Roy Romer going through there once again, taking a look at him. You won't see a few Broncos on the celebration tonight. A few of them are going off to Honolulu for the Pro Bowl.
John Elway, Keith Bishop, Dennis Smith, Carl Mecklenburg, and Rulon Jones. They're all going to go to the Pro Bowl, so they're headed to Honolulu.
Wish they could be here for this.
I'm sure they do, too.
I think it'd get them fired up for next season. I don't know if we could stand this more than once every 9 years.
That's what most of the fans really want to say, that they just want to let them know that how much they are loved and how much they're cared about and what a fantastic season they had. And next year is what we're looking for.
Well, I think there's a sociological thing here and what it's done for this town to bring it all together, to shake hands with one another and to pat ourselves on the back for something that 45 other guys have done for us. And
isn't that wonderful?
Well, it's nice to see our friends and neighbors out there, too, isn't it? Quite a shot. That's from the Amico building at 17th Street, taking a look to the west. And as you can see, the big crush, that's more than an orange crush that's moving in on the following part of the parade as we're looking to the east now, down 17th Street. They'll make a big turn on Broadway and head to the south, finishing up in Civic Center Park for all kinds of fun and games and music and speeches and thank yous and your welcomes and all kinds of other things going on down in that region.
KMGH 7 News.
You know, this is not a city that will not be a proud city. We're proud of the Denver Broncos. We're proud of our AFC championships. Let me step out of the way so you can take a look at what's going on down here in the street. Well, I hope you can see as much as we can because it is starting to get a little dark. But we just had the orange RTD bus drive by. We're looking at another marching band, the Domino's Miniature Horse Hitch.
What does the scene look like from up there?
Well, I would say that the crowd does indeed love the Broncos because they've turned out in force. Judging by the turnout, Bertha, it's probably safe to say that there are two winners of the Super Bowl. One, the team that scored the most points, and secondly, the team that gets to come home to the Denver fans, quite possibly the most energetic fans in the United States. Denver's civic pride is showing out there on the streets today. The Broncos not only have the good fortune of being the AFC champs, winners of the toughest division in football, but the Broncos also have the good fortune of coming home to Denver. Estimates were that about 100,000
up and around some of those light standards down there. And I believe Bill Britt is down there with the crowd right now. Bill, can you hear me? What's it like down there?
I sure can. And the crowd is well behaved. It's hard to believe that there are actually 100,000 people out here turning out for a team that didn't do as well as we would have liked for the Super Bowl. But nevertheless, you know, somebody else came up to me a little while ago and they were saying, I don't know about you, but my friends have been saying to me that they're really tired of hearing all this stuff about the Broncos for the last 2 weeks, and they're just tired of everything being orange and blue. Well, I'm not tired of it, and a lot of people aren't tired of it.
Okay, I told you so. I told you so. Now here we go. We can see the buses passing right now. They're beginning to start. We've already seen the Clydesdales, the bands. We're still following it. Fans, who's your favorite Broncos player? Who you want to talk to on the bus?
Carl's not there.
Now come here. Let's talk to a Broncos fan down here whose favorite player is Rich Carless. How come?
Well, I like the way he kicks and he's really good.
Cute. Well, this is Gina talking, and Gina better tell Rich Carless that because we're afraid he's not feeling too good today. So anyway, the rest of the fans have turned around to watch the parade. We can see the bands down about 3 blocks down. We can see the tip of the buses on their way up. Now we can definitely hear the noise. Let's talk to some people here. Who is it you want to see most when the buses get up here?
All of them. I want to see all of them. All the Broncos are good.
What's your message for the players who are All the way in Hawaii who aren't here for this.
For what?
Who are in Hawaii who aren't here for this.
Go for the Broncos, all of it.
You want them to know that you still love them, huh?
Yeah. I'm a fan all the way. They are exactly 1 block away from us. And
we're going to go ahead and send it live now to Civic Center Park. That's where the buses are headed. There's going to be a big party down there. Dave Minshaw should be standing by live. Dave, what's going on down there?
It's not quite as noisy where we are here in front of the city and county building as it was along the parade route. Boy, what a party that looks like downtown. As soon as the Broncos hit here, and this is expected to happen shortly before 6 o'clock, everybody's going to be up on that rostrum. Among others, we're going to hear from Mayor Pena, from Governor Romer, from Coach Reeves. Pat Bolden will be there. It's going to be quite a party. We will be standing by to bring you more of this live. Right now, back to you, Bertha.
Okay, David, thank you very much for that live report. And thanks to all the crew out there. We'll be checking back with you as the parade progresses. What a contrast between today's attitude in Denver and yesterday's. Charles?
Looks like a lot of fun. It's because 5 Broncos had such a good season that they couldn't make it to today's parade. They're in Hawaii for this Sunday's Pro Bowl. One of them is Rulon Jones. He anchored the Denver defensive line in yesterday's Super Bowl. After the game, he spoke for the 5 when he told 7 Sports what he would like to tell all the Denver fans.
Well, it's been a great year. I hope nobody, takes this as a negative. We played, we were within 1/2 of, being the world champions. And there's a lot of people watching us today and a lot of football players that would like to have been in our shoes. So, it was a great year, and it was the year that we really came together as a team, and we're still a young team. And, we got a long ways we can go, and we're going to be a better football team next year.
The other Broncos going to the Pro Bowl are John Elway, Keith Bishop, Carl Mecklenburg, and Dennis Smith.
The Super Bowl loss yesterday will be a tough one to recover from. And
now, Linda, how far away are they at this point from the
promotional campaign?
They cause a problem in getting them down to the Civic Center where they're going to have that big welcoming.
They have stopped. Well, now here we go. A little bit of movement here. It's just really difficult because people just want to press in, see, wave, say, hello, we're proud of you, thanks for a great year of football. We were even talking about the fact that the players aren't going to step outside of those buses all along this parade route. They're going to get out down there at the rally a little later on. And yet still, we must have 10,000 people just right here along 17th Street.
I would be amazed if you weren't up around 30,000 just crammed in that little area, Linda. That, conceivably could be a dangerous situation down there.
Is rush hour in Denver. Let's get back out there now. Jane Hamden standing in what is now about the, probably towards the end of the parade as it makes its way towards the city-county
It's up
building.
near Broadway, I'm sure, by now.
Sure. Jane?
Yes, we're right in the thick of things, and I'll tell you, these fans just love it. We haven't seen the Broncos. We haven't seen the Broncos buses yet, but we're sure they're going to come around soon. Let's hear a little bit about what you're going to say when the Broncos come by practice. That's what they want to see. They love to see this. They love to see the horses. They love to see the bands, but right now they're waiting for those Broncos. There we go. That's an overhead shot. The buses haven't gotten to us yet. We're at 17th and Weldon.
Okay, it looks like it's about halfway up 17th Street now. The parade headed for Broadway. There on Broadway, at 17th and Broadway. It turns right, goes past the Capitol building, down to 14th, and then over to the City and County building. You know, I was reflecting, looking at this a moment ago when Larry and Linda were here, Bill, and thinking, you know, what a shame it is that they believe that because of security, that the Broncos have to be put inside buses where you can hardly see them through the windows, and then flanking the buses, a line of police cars to keep people from getting even as close as that.
On the other hand, though, think about this for a second. These folks are heroes to an entire region. If you live in the Rocky Mountains of the United States, your team is the Denver Broncos, with rare exception. In fact, if you're a kid going to school in this area and you're not a Bronco fan, chances are the other kids in school are going to give you a bad time. I can understand. I can really understand why this team needs a little bit of protection.
I can understand, too, but I've seen parades down Fifth Avenue in New York, the famous ticker tape parades, and people are standing in open convertibles, and they are riding on the tops of flatbed trucks. And it's a shame that we can't do that here in Denver.
Parade right now crossing 17th and Champa as it makes its way towards Broadway. You know, talking, though, about these guys...
That looks like it ought to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'd love to see them. Oh, well, I'll have to stop over. Back to you, Dad.
We have just been informed, I can just barely see over the top of this crowd, but the Budweiser Clydesdale wagon and some of the buses have just making their way in front of the state capitol building. So that entourage of players and buses and everything else will be here in a few moments. I cannot see any of the player buses at all, but again, the Clydesdales have at least showed up, so they'll have something to cheer about. So in the meantime, we'll go back to you, Mike and Ward.
All right, we have a little illustration here that'll help you understand exactly where everybody is about now. A moment ago, we were looking at Linda Benzel's location, which is near 17th in California. Let's take a look at our map real quick, and we'll show you what that looks like just about where they are. Do we have our little map here? They're trying to, there you go. If you can see, well, you really can't see the cross street, though, in this particular, it's hard to see.
He's the first offensive lineman ever chosen from the Broncos to go to a Pro Bowl game. Linebackers Carl Mecklenburg and Rulon Jones and Dennis Smith. So some of the big stars aren't here, but certainly there are enough Broncos out there for people to vent their joy and their appreciation.
Now, when this parade comes to an end, as it will at the City County building, the players will get off those buses, and there will be an assemblage right in front of the building where Bob Martin from KOA and Ron Zappolo from News Center 4 will serve as co-masters of ceremonies. They'll be introducing the mayor. They'll introduce the governor. Both of them will probably have a few words to say, as few as any politician would have to say in front of 5,000 to 10,000 people. And after that, there will be a presentation to the owner of the Broncos, Pat Bowlen. And then we will be introduced to each of the players, and they'll have an opportunity to express their gratitude to the large number of people who turned out today, despite the fact that this team finished second.
I heard Peter Rogat mention a little bit ago that they estimate that there are 5,000 people on 17th Street. From the looks of these pictures, Bill, I'd say that's a very conservative estimate.
Probably so, given the fact that this parade is hit right in the middle of rush hour in Denver, and if you're getting out of an office building, even if you're upset about what happened yesterday, I don't think you can avoid walking out to 17th Street just to see what's going on.
Just look at that scene now.
That's a shot from the top of the Amoco building.
And this may take even longer than the hour we anticipated, because the crowds are now getting in the way of the buses. See the people crowded up against the sides of the buses? And all those police and horses and everything else apparently can't keep those people away. And the buses are scarcely moving, if at all.
You asked about security.
Asked about security. So maybe they knew what they were doing.
Jane Hamden can hear us. Jane, what's the situation out there at street level?
The buses are getting very, very close, and the crowd is definitely acknowledging that. They're starting to go crazy. The police really have to push the crowd back to keep them away. I think this crowd wants the Broncos to know that they're remembering the season, they're remembering that they're AFC champs, and just wait till next year. And one thing I've heard over and over and over today is, word to the Broncos, thanks for the fun. Thanks for the fun we've had in the last 2 weeks. And these fans just want one more taste of it today.
Okay, Jane. Now, there's Dan Reeves in the front of the bus, so I have to correct something I said just a moment ago that he wasn't going to be here. I thought he'd flown directly over to Hawaii. Right behind him, Steve Watson, one of the Bronco stars now for many, many years, and a man who takes his football very, very seriously. And I'm sure that if there was one Bronco that I would guess who hated to lose the worst, it would have been Steve Watson yesterday.
Billy
Who else
Bryant
do we
behind
see
him.
Louis Wright just went by, waving out the window. Again, it's hard to see, you see, because
Gary Kubiak.
even as we
Vance Johnson, who was sticking his head outside the bus.
caught a beautiful pass yesterday. That's the idea. The fellow should stand up and lean out those windows like that. But even as we speak, we're beginning to lose light now. What's the time? 5:15. Beginning to get a little dark in the canyons of 17th Street. Look at this.
There are, what, 3 buses there to carry the team on to the City County Building.
Proving again that Denver is proud of the Broncos. It's corny, it's an old clinker, but they're proud of their team, win or lose. And these guys gave it all they had yesterday. I was sitting there. I was about 3 rows up on the sidelines at the Rose Bowl. And it was almost like being at a game at Mile High Stadium because there were so many Bronco fans there. And
look at the ticker tape now.
Look at that.
This is the ticker tape that was brought in from New York City, and you may have heard the story.
It came from New Jersey.
Well, apparently so, and there was also some story on the East Coast that some people tried to rip it off, tried to make sure that it wouldn't get to Denver in time for the parade.
Sabotage our ticker tape?
That's the story.
No, that's terrific. So it's a very happy night in Denver. And this is going to help, I think, all of us feel a little better about losing the Super Bowl.
It takes away the sting.
Yeah, it sure does. And restoring the pride in the city. You know, you have to remember, of course, that the Broncos had a tremendous football season. They were, what, 11 and 5, 11, 12, 13 and 6. And it turned out the season was 30 minutes too long. If the Broncos season had ended 30 minutes earlier, they'd be the world champions. But in the hearts of all these people, they're still the champs.
They are just a couple of minutes away now from the City County Building. They're about 1 block away. As you look at, from Broadway, excuse me.
It's got to be a morning after for Bronco fans. The Rolls...
For the weekend, 3 of the fights have been connected directly to the
light level.
I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of a crowd forms out here in Civic Center where we're looking now. We're looking from the City and County Building over toward the Colorado Capitol Building. And the crowd is going to be out on that grass. And they're already, they tell me now, 5,000 or 6,000 people standing out there. And many of the people watching on the parade as it goes up 17th and Broadway, they're going to follow it. And they're all going to congregate there.
No doubt about it.
It'll be an enormous crowd at night. And again, aren't we fortunate that it's a relatively mild and warm evening?
We are. In fact, some of you who went to the game seem to have brought back some of the California sunshine and warmth with you. We are in what Larry Green says is unseasonably warm weather, and it's going to continue for those of you who may not otherwise hear the 5-day forecast.
Now, some of those in the van of the parade, this band or whatever it is that I can see on the screen here, are already beginning to reach the area of the City and County Building, already moving into Civic Center. So we're going to throw it out to Steve Clark, who's standing by at that end. Stephen?
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bill. How you doing? I can correct your numbers out here. We got a very late estimate from Sergeant Thompson of the Denver Police Department, who says now there are 10 to 15,000 people now crowded in this area between the City Civic Building and the State Capitol. And what a lively crowd, too. They had live bands and recorded music doing all those Broncos chants. I think we're about to do Johnny and Broncos Be Good. We've done the Johnny Elway piece by Kathy and the Cheerleaders. We've had every song that has been done so far during this whole Bronco affair being played so far to this large crowd, a very enthusiastic crowd. They've been standing out here since about 3 o'clock this afternoon, getting a little chilly as the sun goes down, but I think the crowd is warming up. As you mentioned a minute ago, we've got a big crowd here now, but as the end of the parade passes by, those people will fold back in to the crowd here in front of the City and County Building, and that's going to make it even more of a mess, and there's not much more room. But things are very festive around here. They've got all the spotlights now lighting up the City County Building. The Capitol Building, of course, lighted up tonight. And a few minutes ago, I believe we could see some of the floats passing by in that area between the City County Building and the State Capitol. And I think people are starting to become aware of the fact that the parade is about to round onto Broadway and head this direction. So this crowd right here opted, rather than go along the parade route and watch the parade, they decided instead to stake out some good seats here where they can watch what's going to go on. A few minutes ago, you mentioned there'd be some speeches by the politicians, which we hope will be mercifully short so we can hear more from the Broncos. Mayor Pena, Governor Romer will be here. The whole affair hosted by Bob Martin of KOA Radio, and our own Ron Zappolo, of course, has been with the Broncos all week long in Pasadena, and I'm sure he'll have some good words to say. You'll remember that Ron, of course, hosted the big rally that was at Mile High Stadium last Sunday that started this whole thing, and what a rowdy group. Take a look from Copter 4 right now to see what it looks like down below us. As you can see, the crowds are still very heavy lining the parade route. The bus is moving very slow. It looks like you can't have those buses moving too quickly because of the crowd. What a crowd lining the streets. And I don't know, you mentioned a 5,000 crowd estimate along 17th. You know, you've got to look at that picture and say there are a lot more people. And again, out here, the crowd is 15,000, maybe approaching 20,000 as the end of that crowd along 17th Street folds in as the parade hits Broadway. Very quickly, let's go up to Jillian Rice, who is standing by in Copter 4, and she'll give us an idea of what you can see from up there. Hi, Jillian.
Hi, Steve.
Second parade go by, a parade of cleanup crew, and there's still quite a few people here milling around. It seemed like a lot of people were headed towards Civic Center Park. One thing I wanted to let you know, and it was right before somebody pulled the plug, the second bus was going by, and we got a great look at Rich Carlos. Rich, to say the very least, was just crying. He looked very sad. And a lot of people came up to me and commented, "Did you see Rich crying? Did you see Rich crying?" And I said, "Yes." And one guy said, "You know, I think Rich has taken too much of this on his shoulders because he ought to be happy about the fact that we've had an estimated 100,000 people greet our home team that didn't do too well." And nevertheless, take a look at these people that are still here.
Just $1.89.
Balloon bouquet that is hanging on the corner of Broadway there. The crowd is very thick indeed, swarming the buses. But as you mentioned earlier, and quite rightly so, from the start of the parade and on, we've seen those people starting to run towards the City and County building after the Bronco buses have been by them. And obviously the crowd over there at City and County is going to grow as all those people from the back end of the parade make their way over there. Again, now we're looking north on Broadway as those Bronco buses with the police cars surrounding them are starting to come towards us. The crowd lining Broadway is perhaps not as thick as it was on 17th Street, probably because they just want to stay close to the City and County building. But you can see there's a lot of people on both sides of the street, on both sides of that orange stripe. And there isn't any other rest of the parade in sight hardly at all. I think the last marching band is coming up on the Art Museum right now, and the rest of them are out of there. They're going around the back to the west of the City and County building, where I guess which would be the unstaging area. As for traffic downtown, we have noticed some problems going out of town to the west along 18 and 20th Streets, excuse me, trying to get out of downtown. It was to be expected. I wouldn't call it too much of a problem at all. We can also see I-25 from here. It doesn't look any worse than it would normally be during a rush hour at this time. Spear Boulevard is a little heavy, maybe a little heavier than it would normally be at rush hour. But again, it's hard to say, really. We don't see any particular problems from up there. And we are now just coming up on Broadway again. Let's go back down to Stephen Clark at the City and County building and see how big that crowd is getting. Stephen?
Well, Jillian, this crowd seems to be growing. As you pointed out, the crowd is coming from behind the end of the parade, which was the beginning of the parade. Now heading here, I hate to break the news to those poor people, but they're not going to find any place to stand. These people have staked out the place since about 2 o'clock this afternoon in the front row. It now extends all the way back almost to the Capitol building. This is an expensive parade to put on, and fortunately there have been a couple companies that have chipped in a large amount of money. Budweiser chipped in $75,000 to pay for a lot of the parade along the main route, and Coors has chipped in $25,000 here at the City County building to put on this affair out here. And we've also had, I believe Amoco chipped in about $15,000 also to help with some banners, to help get some of the confetti out here and so forth. So that helps defray a lot of the costs. The city would still like to get some donations from you Bronco fans who would like to pay for this. Also, a lot of stuff has been donated out here. I think Listen Up Audio supplied some of these loud speakers you can hear behind me. The stages and all that kind of thing have all been donated. So a lot of the expense of this parade has so far been defrayed. You're looking at the crowd outside of the City County building right here. Our pictures from photojournalist Alan Bissett. This is exactly in the very front row. These are the people who will have the best view as the Denver Broncos come out onto the podium here in a little while. Now, the officials estimated it would take about 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half to get from the starting line to the finish here at the City County building. We haven't put a stopwatch on it at this point, but it looks like it's moving even slower than that estimate. People here by no means losing their enthusiasm. Good entertainment up here to keep them busy. And if you want to rile up the crowd, all you have to say is, go Denver Broncos. So right now we'll go back to Bill and Bob in the studio, and we can continue taking a look at the parade as it winds its way now, as I understand it, onto Broadway Street. Bill and Bob?
All right, Stephen, thanks very much. Bob, you can remember back in 1978. In 1978, when there was an impromptu parade to honor the Broncos when they came back from the Super Bowl.
Correct you right there. I think it was before they went that they had the parade at that time.
Hey, get your 800-842-4400.
From scratch, had them walk up the street, as I recall. Maybe they rode in something.
And today it took more than $100,000.
And I've got before we go to this commercial break, I've got another correction about Dan Reeves. He is not going to coach in the Super Bowl. So now
he's on that bus.
Now I know why Ron Zappolo is the sportsman and I'm the newsman. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Sammy Spine. We're a small town, homegrown.
Magnificent. It was absolutely magnificent. If you looked at the way John Elway and Phil Simms played in that first quarter, I have never seen anything like that in my life, the way they went down the field. They both were 4 for 4 on completions, but the difference in the ball game was the way New York had the ability to change things up, like faking to Joe Morris early in the first quarter and then throwing the touchdown pass. They used everybody in this game, the New York Giants did, their tight ends, their running backs, their receivers, everybody became a part of the game. Now, the Broncos seemed to stay with the same type of game plan they had used the whole year, and we're very familiar with this play up in Denver, where John will just step back and run the quarterback draw. Now, on a good defensive team, this can work a couple of times, but it's not going to work all day long. That's why we didn't see it later. Joe Morris scores a touchdown here. Look at the blocking on this play. The offensive line and the running backs makes the difference.
Rated R. Starts Friday, February 6th at a theater near you.
Into the end zone. Now, this is what the Broncos didn't do, was mix it up as well. They didn't change anything whatsoever. But the Giants, who are known to be just a team that didn't do a lot of razzle-dazzle, came up with some flea flickers, believe it or not. And Phil McConkey, who was a receiver that was cut and then traded for and got back, comes up with the biggest plays of his career and probably his life. Now, the guy's only played 3 or 4 years in this league, but he's 30 years old. This will probably be his last Super Bowl, too, Mike.
Of course, the key to Simms' success, too, is the fact the Broncos never could get that much pressure on him, and that had to hurt.
Well, Joe Morris makes the difference. When you have a...
Go in time of need. Through the years. And/or ice cream.
The running back can either run with the ball, or you can go the play-action passes and have a quarterback who's accurate with some efficiency get the ball downfield. Now, this freezes the linebackers like Carl Mecklenburg, or Ricky Hundley, or even a Jim Ryan. It just freezes them for a moment and allows Phil Simms to be efficient, which he was yesterday, 22 for 25. If you had told me that going into this game, he was going to be 22 for 25, I would have said, oh, get out of here. There's no way.
Remarkable performance, and I thought if they stopped Morris, which they did, that Simms, and forced Simms to pass, they'd win the game. It didn't happen. Final Super Bowl stubber for you. We want to know which state has hosted the most Super Bowl.
I'm going to stay with it.
Indeed. Stephen Clark is at the City-County building, and that's where this is all supposed to end. In a short time, it ends with a large celebration there, right, Stephen?
I think large is a good word, and maybe that's an underestimate for a large celebration. There are about 15,000 people here now by official estimate, and the number is growing every second as the people who are watching the beginning of the parade move their way back here to the center. See a lot of banners here. These are the people right in the front row. They got the great seats here when the Broncos do come up here to give their speeches. What a beautiful evening, by the way. The sun is now setting. We're in the dark here, but the downtown area with all the mirrored windows on the sides of the buildings are all lighted up, making a very, very beautiful scene. We understand the parade is now moving along to the east side of downtown and heading towards the state capitol. Of course, it'll have to come up around past the capitol, then take a right and come up behind the city county building. The Broncos will then, at that point, unload, come to the back of the building with a lot of security, and then they'll bring them into the rotunda of the Capitol building. Now, that time, they will be brought out onto the stage. There'll be a few speeches right here where you're looking underneath the big screen TV. There'll be some speeches by some of the politicians, Governor Romer, Mayor Pena. I believe Pat Bolin will be making a presentation. All this will be emceed by our own Ron Zappolo and Bob Barton from KOA Radio. I believe also there will be an award given to the Broncos from the city and the state. And at that point, the Broncos will be saying the words that all these fans want to hear. I had a chance a few minutes ago to talk to Steve Kadich, the organizer of this impromptu parade, and we've got to give him some credit. He's done a great job putting this together. But he said at this point, he can't speculate on whether more people would have showed up had the Broncos won. But at this point, he says he doesn't think so. He thinks this is as big a crowd as they would have gotten win or lose. So that's a good thing to say about the Denver Bronco fans and, of course, the city of Denver and the state of Colorado. We will be here live to report on the coming of the Denver Broncos when they get here, and they should be here in just the next couple of minutes. We will be here to report and carry what they say to you live. But at this time, we're going to go back to the studio and check with Larry Green to see what kind of weather we can expect for the rest of this evening, which is turning out to be a very beautiful evening. So reporting live from the City County Building, I'm Stephen Clark, News Center 4.
Okay, thank you, Steve. That leprechaun there has an endless supply of energy because he was out at the Super Bowl as well, and you see him everywhere you go. Thank you very much. We'll get back to you before the Broncos arrive.
Rocky the leprechaun.
It's Rocky the leprechaun?
Yes.
Yeah, Rocky, okay.
Why? Beats me.
Anyone who works downtown and isn't a Bronco fan is likely to be hung up in some of that traffic trying to get home. Now, Jim Durker is up in Sky 9 right now, and he wants to give us a report on where that parade is exactly. Jim, can you give us a focal point there?
Well, Mike, first of all, I'm glad I'm up here, not down there, but let's go outside with Sonny Jackson's camera right now and show you that they are on Broadway just turning in towards the park. And look at those buses and the police escort. They've got about another 4 or 5 minutes before they pull up in front of the City and County Building, and there are thousands of people lining the streets, closing in around the buses, and there's a lot of excitement going on down there right now, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. So the weather ought to be pretty mild, gentlemen.
We should point out that Bill Custer is not dressed in black because of what happened in Pasadena yesterday. That's just a very dark shade of navy blue.
That's right. That's right. Word tonight.
While the folks back east are shoveling.
Afternoon average was 70, forecast to remain acceptable. National radar shows showers to the north of us, but that big band of high pressure, that big ridge of high pressure, promises to keep most of the active weather moving over to the north of us for the next several days. So I guess we can ignore those showers. We're not going to wish those into Colorado. We will have some snow in the mountains from time to time. The same thing that's creating the wind down here is also permitting some snow to fall in the mountains of Colorado. So over the last 3 days, many of the ski areas in northern and central Colorado have picked up almost a foot of snow. So good news all the way around on that. Meanwhile, in the eastern part of the country, light showers continuing along the southeastern part of the country, and the second big storm in 5 days for the northeastern part of the country is now moving out to sea. But bitter cold temperatures can be expected in that region tonight. The satellite shows the storm continuing to move out that way, and it looks like over the next couple of days, they're going to start to clear up and have a chance to really shovel out some of that snow. Tomorrow's weather, starting off with the west. We'll have a cold front approaching us from the west. That'll be triggering some showers in California, maybe even some snow up in the higher elevations. But this is the key for the next several days. High pressure forming up in the Four Corners region, kicking most of those storms over to the north, but still permitting us to have a little bit of wind or a lot of wind here in eastern Colorado and in the mountains. Let's put that east of the Continental Divide. Meanwhile, some snow will be falling tomorrow around the Great Lakes region, and not too much else going on in the eastern part of the country. A chance for the skies to clear, but not much warmer in the northeast. Take a look at the temperatures expected. Teens and 20s in most of the metropolitan areas of the northeastern part of the country tomorrow. 40s and 50s, so fairly cool down in the southeastern part of the country tomorrow. And we have a chance to warm up. Warm winds are going to permit temperatures in the 50s, maybe even some 60s in southeastern Colorado tomorrow and the next day. And in the southwestern part of the United States, living up to their reputation, now have more temperatures coming up into the 70s. Taking a look around our region today, according to weather watchers and the National Weather Service, these are the temperatures, the highest readings we could find around the region today, mostly 50s out in the plains today, and 40s up in the high country. Look at that, 43 for Aspen today. They melted a little bit of snow. There's still plenty to go around. 40s and 50s in the western valleys. Now, as we take a look for one more day, we can see what's going on for the state. Tomorrow in western Colorado, 37 to 47 degrees for those highs. In the mountains, we're calling for a chance for some snow, mostly tonight, and then kind of tapering off through the day tomorrow. Not a big, significant amount of snow. 33 to 43 degrees for the highs up there, and windy. And in eastern Colorado, windy, therefore warm. Highs ranging from 50 to 60 degrees, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. Here's Denver's forecast for you. Tonight, we'll start off with partly cloudy skies and windy conditions. The low should be around 30 degrees. Then tomorrow, windy and warm. The high should be around 60, and we're expecting a low of right around 30 degrees. Looks pretty good for the next couple of days. Maybe we'll be back with a 5-day forecast. If we don't, looks like things will hold warm and windy for the next several days.
Unseasonably warm.
Have 63 degrees, very unseasonably warm, and the low temperature.
$600 back.
There is, as you know, a huge tribute to the Broncos going on in downtown Denver at this hour. A parade and an appearance attended by, from the best figures that we can pull together, at least 25,000 people. And Jillian Rice has the best seat in the house up in Copter 4. Jillian?
Well, hi, Bob. Yes, the buses are just rounding the curve in between the library and the art museum, and the people that were around there are just running, actually. It sort of looks like a bit of a mob scene. I don't think it is. I think it's just enthusiasm as people are running and trying to get to the front of the city and county building in time to be able to see something. The crowd in front of the city and county building obviously is enormous at this point. It's really hard to estimate, definitely tens of thousands of people. And the city and county building is all lit up. It's a beautiful sight from up here. Those four Bronco buses have about another 200 yards to go. If they can get through a knot of people there on the corner of 14th and Bannock, and that seems to be their last hurdle. That seems to be the last hurdle before they can get... Okay. All right, let's go back down on the ground to Stephen Clark at the city and county. Stephen?
Hi, Jillian. How you doing? We're standing here with the crowd that is waiting for the Broncos to show up here. The city and county building is right in front of us here. So I think we'll take a little walk along and give you the idea of how large this crowd is here. You pretty excited? I think you can tell we have a very enthusiastic crowd here at the city county building. I don't think most of these people are even aware that the buses are just around the corner. I just told them the buses are just around the corner. Should be here in just a couple minutes. After the buses get here, they'll go around behind the building, and then they'll go up on a stage where the people can listen to the Broncos speak. A huge crowd at this point. The official estimate, the last we heard about 15 minutes ago, was 10 to 15,000 people. But as Jillian pointed out a couple minutes ago from Copter 4, all the people who are at the end of the line along the area of Larimer Street and 17th, as soon as the parade passed them by, they came running across here to join this large crowd. At this point, I don't see how the crowd can get much larger. It's already backed up all the way from this line in front of the city-county building, all the way onto the lawn of the state capitol. That's quite a distance back there. It's a very festive evening out here. We've got all the lights of the city-county building put on, and there are spotlights and searchlights going on out here. Music playing. We've got our big screen television working back here now, so the people are allowed to see some of the goings-on here of our coverage in Channel 4. Once again, the players should be arriving any time now. We're going to guess maybe 15 or 20 minutes if they can get through the crowd of buses right here. And at that point, we will be here live to give you a first-hand view of what is going on with the Broncos as they get up here and talk to the crowd. And this is indeed an enthusiastic crowd. All right, who do you want to hear from up there?
The Broncos.
Doesn't matter, any one of them, huh? Okay. A lot of very excited people. The Broncos will be here any minute now, so we'll be back again. I don't know if we can get another shot here to see where the parade is, but at this point, I think I'll throw it back to Bob Palmer and Bill Cernoff in the studio, and they can fill us into what's going on in the parade, because we can't see through this crowd right now. Bill and Bob?
Well, you know, we can't see much either, and that's because it's gotten dark outside. You have no appreciation when you look at those pictures for the large number of people that have gathered in the center of the city tonight to honor the Broncos.
Well, he said they're packed in now from in front of the city and county building. Everyone knows where the Christmas lights were, all the way across Civic Center, and now beginning to fill the lawn in front of the Capitol building, which is about 2 blocks away. So there have to be at least 35,000 people out there.
Indeed. What they're waiting for, of course...
Standing by here, there's a great deal of excitement. As you saw in the coverage of the parade, police now say there were more than 100,000...
30, get up about 5:45 now.
People now, Charles, are winding up here. You can just hear the people hollering and screaming in the background. Let me describe some of the scene here. It looks almost like one of those siege movies you see on TV. All the TV helicopters and the police helicopter have been hovering overhead. They've got these big bright searchlights that are just piercing the sky, and just generally a mood of festivities here. The cheerleaders have been performing. It's going to be quite an evening. Again, the Broncos almost here. As soon as they arrive and come down those steps, we'll have it live for you. We'll keep you posted from Civic Center. Back to you, Charles.
Invest in a sophisticated German road car. Take this drive.
Caught up with the team. They also need some help in the offensive line in certain areas. That was evident yesterday.
And on defense, there's several veterans that may have played their last game for the Broncos. But this really hurt when they got down close, and you have to question the series of calls here from head coach Dan Reeves. Bill Parcells had a great game plan. The Broncos did for a quarter and a half, almost the first half. But once the Giants get ahead of you, they tee off and really come after you. The Broncos left their hotel this morning and headed home. Hopefully they will be back. Here is Rich Carlos. There was a young man who really took the loss hard, and certainly he should not shoulder the blame. Dan Reeves looking rather grim. I'll tell you what, last night, though, after the game, an hour or so back at the hotel, they looked like Louis Wright did today, all in a pretty good mood, and they had put it behind her and headed home to Denver, and of course, as you have seen, our...
It only tastes expensive.
Whoa, Mac. 100,000 people to Las Vegas. The estimated size of the crowd, like the claims made on behalf of at least some of the products exhibited here, may be a bit of an exaggeration.
Hey, Jim?
Well, we got a chance to talk to head coach Bill Parcells, also MVP Phil Simms today, and obviously an excited bunch, but I tell you, Mike, almost facing the postgame like they faced the pregame. Very businesslike. I think they felt it was the year of destiny. They were going to go out and get it, so they certainly didn't surprise themselves by their awesome...
It's just 59 cents, so jump on it.
Welcome back to News Center 4, where we have only one subject to talk about tonight.
Gee,
and
what could that be?
A gigantic parade going on in downtown Denver, welcoming home the AFC champion Denver Broncos. And estimates now ranging up to 35,000
easily
from Civic Center.
Easily. If you just joined us, this parade began about 4:45 this afternoon. It's difficult to get an appreciation for that as we look downtown because it is dark, except around the city-county building itself. This parade began, as I said, about 4:45 at 17th and Larimer, and it began with the Denver Police Department, and they really set the pace this afternoon. A color guard from Lowry Air Force Base was out there to lead the procession, followed by Budweiser's floats.
Whether we've acknowledged all of the groups that have been taking part in this parade, but they should receive some acknowledgement. The famous Westerners from Jefferson County were out there, the Chatfield High School Marching Band. We had the Budweiser horses out there pulling their wagon. Of course, that was handy for them. They were in town for the stock show.
That's
They
true.
brought the horses downtown, then some miniature horses, and North Glen High had its marching band.
91-member all-city marching band, the Cherry Creek High School marching band.
Okay, now the Broncos, as best we can judge, are maybe 5-10 minutes away from taking center stage there. They're all going to be introduced. Ron Zappolo is there, along with Bob Martin of KOA Radio. Coach Dan Reeves is there. All the Broncos are going to get to say a few words, all of those who are here.
And down there in that lit area, just in front of the city-county building, I can't quite make him out. Stephen Clark's in that crowd someplace. Stephen?
I'm waving at you right now, Bill. I hope you can see us here. How many Broncos songs are there? Can you guys make a guess how many songs have been written about the Denver Broncos? Any guesses?
20, 25?
That's about right. I think I've heard every one of them this evening. They keep playing them here. They've got...
I'm waiting for the really good one to be written. The one that I can sing.
Well, good or not, at least they're very enthusiastic. So, we've been hearing all these songs all evening long. Huge crowd, and we've lost even track of the estimates. The police department can't see the people anymore because it's gotten so dark. But the people know now, I think, that the Broncos are very close. I think they sense it at this point.
Well, you know, anything may happen in crowd size, Steve, in a city where 60,000 people will go to a stadium when there's no football game just to cheer their team. Look at these faces.
Definitely. Right now, I was just looking back here, and I saw the giant balloon serpent, which is standing back behind the stage here. I think that was at the very beginning of the parade, so it has made its way here. I haven't gotten to see that before. That is rather spectacular to see all those balloons, as you can see on the left of your screen.
It's the same idea as they had at the Super Bowl with these huge arches that were made of balloons. I'm sure you saw those as part of the halftime show from Disneyland. Enormous arches, and then they were eventually all turned loose and went up into the sky. I had hoped that when they all got up there, they were going to spell out Broncos, but they didn't. They drifted all in different directions.
Oh, well. As you see the stage right there, there's a big screen television set going on behind the stage. We'll be able to show the people all their Broncos so they can see them from way far back. The darker it gets, consequently, the better that screen looks. See the spotlights going around. What a festive atmosphere here this evening. And I I can't believe the size of the crowd here. And again, we talked a little while ago with the organizers of the parade and asked them the question, do you think there would have been more people had the Broncos won the Super Bowl? And the answer is, well, we don't know how there could be more people. And at this point, I think the character of the Denver Bronco fans is that win or lose, we're going to be here to support the team. I was in Colorado in 1977, Bob, as you were, and I don't remember anything like this. It just seems to me that there's nothing like it.
Well,
Yeah, Bob.
Well, I was about to say, Steve, yes, there wasn't anything like this, but the city really wasn't any better organized than the Broncos were in 1977, and they couldn't get something like this put together.
Well, I think they both got it together this time. You know, people think it was a long road to the Super Bowl, and maybe it was a long road, but if you really think about it, it took the Broncos exactly 98 yards to get to Pasadena. Elway to Winder. Elway's got some running room. Sewell. Oh, how did he hang on to it? Complete. He'll run. Touchdown, Mark Jackson. The man who engineered the drive. The best damn quarterback in football. Number 7, John Elway. All the teams are down. The big one's on the way. And if you think last week was good, wait till next week. We'll be dressed in orange.
This is Bronco Vision.
This community has really done its utmost to support the Broncos.
Well, it's been kind of crazy.
I passed along the way. Here we come. You know we're going to Pasadena. You know we're going to Pasadena.
Have you guys been hounded by the press all morning here? No way. Are you only by you, Rod?
Elway is our leader, and I say he's number 1.
I want to know about John.
I've been all around the USA.
We're not going to go. 100,000 of them have come here. Most of them are backed up way, way, way across to the Capitol. Just a huge crowd here. You can see it stretching off into the distance. That's the Capitol in the background, and the crowd probably...
All down here now, Mike and Ward. They've all crowded down at Civic Center Plaza. We still have the music going on. Now, the buses just came through Civic Center Park, and they're going around, which is a real smart move. They're going around the city-county building, and they're going to be entering through the west portal here because they've got so many people out here, they can't get the buses out into the front. They're moving around to the back, and they're still having a tough time getting those buses around the back because of so many people have been crowding the streets. So they're going to move around to the west portal, and then they're going to take the players in to the bandstand that you see behind me, and then they will introduce the players, the coaches. There's going to be some remarks by Governor Roy Romer, Mayor Pena, and also an introduction of the players and coaches by owner Pat Boland. Greg Moody and Tom Green are standing up right next to the entrance there, the exit where the Broncos will be coming out. Let's go up to them and see what's going on. Gentlemen?
Thanks a lot, Dan. We're here at the City and County building. We're actually entering the building now. The Broncos are inside. We're going to come in and see if we can... you can see the Broncos here. They're celebrating right now, and they're having a little bit of a relaxation before they head out and face the crowd. Right now, they're just seeing everybody having a little bite to eat, celebrating the parade and their AFC championship. So let's go back to Dan. We'll have more from them as they head out onto the podium.
All right, so the Broncos have finally made it to the city-county building.
Here, such a mood of we are winners after all. I think one other thing that's happened that you have to realize is that win or lose, the city of Denver has really profited by having the
The sights and sounds of the Denver Broncos, the city of Denver, and the city of Pasadena over this past week. If it was 98 yards to get to Pasadena, the ride home was a long, long ride home. But this welcome here that the Denver Broncos are getting this evening from the city of Denver is something else. I cannot believe the enthusiasm of these people. You would never believe that the Denver Broncos lost that football game yesterday, and even if they lost the game, they sure have won a city. Right now, I think we'd like to take a look. Is Jillian Rice still standing by with the copter to give us an aerial look? Jillian?
Steve?
Yeah, Bob here. We don't have Jillian there.
Yeah, this is Bob Palmer here with Bill Sternoff.
All right, Bob.
You know, it's too bad we have to keep using that word losers or lost the game and so forth. Because, you know, obviously the Broncos, better than 26 other teams in the NFL, went all the way to the Super Bowl, and I'm sure that that's what the people out there are feeling. They're winners. They may not have won the big one, but they're certainly winners in 1986.
I think it's probably the best way to look at it, Bob.
It's good for the city as well. You cannot bypass a day where the majority of the American television viewers have their eyes trained on a major sporting event where they see Denver constantly before their eyes. This city needs a pickup. I think it was important for the city, politically and economically, that this team did what it did.
To the little old lady, already leading 10-7. It's first and goal.
Because so many Denver fans weren't watching from their living room.
Show attention.
Yeah, Bill, a minute ago I talked to Steve Kadich, again, the organizer of this parade, and also a famous name for his efforts trying to get baseball to the city of Denver. He said you could not buy publicity like Denver has gotten over the past couple of weeks. And even if you could buy it, it's not worth as much. He says free publicity is a whole lot better than bought publicity. Also, in the efforts to get baseball to Denver, he says this win by the Denver Broncos in the NFC, and also, or the AFC rather, and also getting into the Super Bowl, has just done tremendous good for his efforts to get baseball to the city. He said he's going to take all this clips from coverage so far with him next time he goes and tries to get the baseball team, because he says it'll do a lot of good. Well, that's it from right now. We're waiting for the buses to show up here, and we understand they're just behind us almost, and they'll be up here on the stage for Denver Broncos. The governor, the mayor, Ron Zapola, the whole gang will be up here talking to the whole crowd, which now has swelled to at least 20,000, possibly beyond. So we'll be back live here to take a look at what's going on, but right now we'll go back to you, Bob.
All right, Stephen, thanks very much. For anyone who doubts it, this is News Center 4, your Broncos station, and we're going to stay with our coverage here, our continuing coverage of the homecoming of the Denver team.
There have been a lot of people who watched the Super Bowl yesterday who turned off the TV or left when at game's end. But Steve Alvarez was in the Bronco locker room.
Explain the Broncos firing blanks made for a long afternoon.
Entertaining and informative.
Right now, you know, it's hard to think about what happened the rest of the season. It's a very bitter and disappointing loss for us, and it's going to take some time to live it down. You know, it may not happen until the next training camp.
Actually, you come this far, you know, if you don't win this game, you really do feel like it was all for nothing.
It didn't seem like a wasted effort early on. The Broncos moved well for a 10-7 lead, but missed opportunities at the end of the first half took the wind out of their sails, and the Giants took control in the third quarter.
Proved to be the determining factor. I think had we been able to capitalize early, we might have been able to play. It might have been a little different type of ball game. We couldn't do anything right, and everything they did was going right in that third quarter. And you got to give them a lot of credit. They got a great team, and they proved it today.
It may not have been their day, but it was their year in the AFC. Nobody can take away what they accomplished to get to the Super Bowl, and they're dedicated to coming back.
We accomplished a lot, and I tell you what, we've got a young football team here, and a lot of people have got the feeling of what it's all about.
I can't wait, you know, being young and everything. I think Mark Jackson and I have a good future in Denver. Hopefully we'll retire, and, you know, I can't wait till next year so we can go out there, make some more big plays, and hopefully we'll get a chance to come up here again, and next time we come up here, we're going to win.
As much fun as we had the whole week, and as much fun as we had throughout the playoffs, I can't wait to get back here, and I know we will.
From the Super Bowl in Pasadena, Steve Alvarez, News Center 4 Sports.
So optimism on the part of the players. We're live back at the city and county building here where the buses have finally arrived. Right now, speaking on the podium, you can see Denver Mayor Federico Pena, who just thanked Denver for this huge welcome. A moment ago, Bob Martin of KOA Radio said that it was a very, very tough ride coming back, and he says this has done a lot of good, this welcome for the Broncos. Let's listen right now to the mayor.
We want to thank many of you and others who have helped make these efforts so successful. American Express for their sponsorship of the rally, Anheuser-Busch for their sponsorship of the parade, Coors for their sponsorship of the Civic Center, and the hundreds and hundreds of business people, citizens, and organizations that have been involved in this effort. You have been spectacular, and you make a big difference. And most importantly, we want to thank Coloradoans, the Broncos in our hearts are #1. The spirit we started this year is going to bring us back next year to the very top. We love the Broncos. And now I'd like to invite a gentleman who has made this team what it is today, the owner of the Denver Broncos, Pat Bowlen. Pat, I hope everybody can see this. This is a sculpture done by Ken Bunn. It is a sculpture of a Bronco, and it says Denver Broncos Appreciation Day, January 26, 1987. The city of Denver thanks you for a championship season. Congratulations. We love you. You're the greatest fans in the whole wide world. You've taken us from the outhouse yesterday to the penthouse today. You've really lifted our spirits. We'll return. We'll be back. You'll have the World Championship. I promise you that. I'm very proud of my fans, my team, my coaches, Dan Reeves, and the rest of the organization. Thank you. Pat, stay right there because we have another presentation. I'd like to introduce the president of the Denver City Council, Bill Scheitler. Bill?
Pat, for all the enjoyment you've given us this whole past season, we as members of the Denver City Council just wanted to present this resolution for you, your staff, and your great team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Half of that 100,000 has come right here. This is quite a display, I'll tell you. Now the band is firing up. The band is firing up. Gonna hear some cheering. Let's see if we can get you some shots over there of the Denver Broncos cheerleaders.
40 or 50 feet out are going to get a real good view, but that's a packed crowd down there in that little amphitheater.
Of course, it's very little doubt what is going on right now. This is the Broncos scoring song, and the Broncos have definitely scored this evening here in the city of Denver. As you heard a few moments ago from the mayor thanking all the people who have been responsible for putting on this wonderful parade, and also the wonderful reception here at the City County building. The governor, of course, thanking the team also for what it has done for the state of Colorado.
Yes, we would like that.
Denver Broncos owner Pat Bowlen saying, you have taken us from the outhouse to the penthouse, and he promises we will be back. Of course, right now we're waiting for all the Denver Bronco players to get onto the podium. They are now slowly filtering onto the podium. All together. There you can see a player.
Vance Johnson.
Yeah, it's Vance Johnson.
I'm trying to figure out what he's holding. I guess that is a rose or a carnation. Is that a rose?
I guess they want to bring the Broncos on all at once, and they have them back in the wings around the corner there, and they're all going to come out at once, where each of them will be introduced. Bob Martin of KOA.
KOA, Ron Zappolo up there. One of the things we notice is there are a lot of kids out there this afternoon, this evening, and we had mused about maybe they should have held this parade at noontime. But if they had held this parade at noontime, the only way that a kid could get out there to see it would be to play hooky. And this way, many of them are out there to see their heroes, and they can do it without having missed any school.
You know, we really got lucky. If the parade had started about 30 minutes later, we wouldn't have been able to see the buses, see the players in the buses. So we at least got a look at them before darkness fell across the city. And now we have an opportunity to light the stage there at the city and county building, or the upper tier. They have a platform built at the foot of the steps, I believe is the situation. Rick Hundley, who had a good game, incidentally. Hundley in on a lot of tackles, playing better all the time.
This does not look like a celebration for a team that finished second.
That's right.
Well, again, I think the Broncos scored, as that scoring song would indicate.
Got to look at Keith Bishop there a minute ago, who had an excellent season, is going to the Pro Bowl. I'm sorry, Keith Bishop is in Hawaii. I'm getting my players mixed up. That was Dave Studdard. They both have beards. I was at least close, Bill.
Both very large human beings.
Very large human beings.
Hard to tell them without their numbers.
You know, I don't think you have to worry about the kids playing hooky tomorrow. I think all their teachers will play hooky tomorrow also. After a night of a high like this, it'd be hard to bring yourself down in time to get back to the old humdrum of the workday tomorrow.
I think we're about to hear from Dan Reeves.
The Super Bowl is head coach of the Denver Broncos. Here is Dan Reeves.
Listen to that reception.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just say that last week when we left to go to Pasadena, certainly we had tremendous expectations of what we would accomplish. It didn't turn out the way we would like, and any time that you come up short, it always hurts. You know, our football team hurts right now. I hurt. There's so many reasons that you want to win a championship. I think this is a special football team. I think it's got special players on it. It's a special coaching staff that works very hard, and I think we'll be back. I know that our players felt very down yesterday. I know that I felt down. I had no idea the reception that we would get tonight when we came back to Denver. You people are great. We thank you very much. God bless you. We'll now introduce the Broncos, starting with the staff and coaches. First off, the general manager, John Beek, and his wife, Marcia. John?
I think it'll take a while for Ron to find them all here on the stand.
Contributions. We'll ask everybody that we introduce to wave, jump up, so that you can recognize them and give them a moment's recognition as well. The assistant coach is Marvin Bass and his wife, Audrey. Marvin.
The assistant head coach and defensive coordinator, Joe Collier, and his wife, Shirley. Joe.
Assistant coach, Kate Dalton, and his son, Keith.
Special teams coach, Chan Gailey, and his wife, Lori. Chan.
Offensive line coach, Alex Gibbs, and his wife, Alex Gibbs.
Defensive line coach, Stan Jones, and his wife, Darla. Stan.
Strength coach, Al Miller, and his wife, Janice.
Linebacker coach, Merrill Moore, and his wife, Sandra. Merrill.
Running backs coach, Nick Nicolau, and his wife, Ellie.
Offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan and his wife Peggy. Mike?
Defensive backs coach Charlie West and his wife Barbara.
Now to the players. Rookie running back Ken Bell and Lisa Riesinger. Ken?
Let me put a footnote in here, Ron. There are 5 rather prominent Broncos who can't be here tonight because they were forced by the National Football League to spend the next week in Hawaii at the Pro Bowl. They're missing the big night. It's their loss. Center Billy Bryan and his wife Susan. Billy Bryan.
Dallas Cameron and Johanna McCrae. Dallas.
One of the spiritual leaders of the Broncos, Roman Carter.
Nose guard Tony Colorado and Karen Harmon. Tony.
Special teams MVP, Darren Como.
Guard Mark Cooper and Nancy Parker. Mark.
Linebacker Rick Dennison and Debbie.
Running back Joe Dudek and Jody Wright. Joe.
Defensive lineman Simon Fletcher.
One of the longtime veterans, cornerback Steve Foley and his wife Cindy.
Offensive lineman Mike Freeman and Jill.
Defensive end Freddie Gilbert and his wife Michelle. Freddie.
Tight end Joey Hackett and Debbie Merritt.
A man who should be in the Pro Bowl, cornerback Mike Harden and his wife Donna.
A man liberated from the New York Giants, cornerback Mark Haynes and Vicky.
Punter Mike Horan and his wife Kim.
I'm not sure with his injury that he's been able to make it through the crowd tonight, but we certainly want to recognize a 2-time Super Bowler guard, Paul Howard.
A man who was flying around yesterday, linebacker Ricky Hundley.
Another man who has made his mark, wide receiver, Mark Jackson.
To some of you, the next man is the Denver Broncos, linebacker Tom Jackson.
Fresh from the Joan Rivers Show, the Shire retiring Vance Johnson.
Offensive lineman Jim Jariga and Denise Vaccaro. Jim.
Place kicker Rich. Sorry about that. Rich Carlos.
Tight end Clarence Nose guard, Greg Craig and Carlos Singer. Greg. Quarterback, Gary Kubiak. Running back, Gene Lang and his wife, Darrell. Gene. Offensive tackle, Ken Lanier and Vicky. Safety, Tony Lilly and Perry. Tony. Bobby Mitchell. Tight end, Orson Mobley.
Well, the ceremony continues down at...
But the Broncos don't seem to feel that way tonight, and certainly the people who are here watching don't.
They claim that they didn't lose too much in the way of overtime because schedules were juggled and police officers' leave was postponed. They were just all activated this evening. Normally about 80, 90 police officers on the street at this hour. But they activated every body they had as they go down for traffic control. And if those figures are right, 100,000, that is an awful lot of people. Have you ever been in a crowd that big?
Working behind me, wide receiver, Clint Sampson. Clint. Running back, Steve Sewell. Offensive lineman, Stan Short. Tackle, Dave Stutter and his wife, Cecilia. Defensive lineman, Andre Townsend. Andre Townsend. Running back, Gerald Wilhite and Paula Henry. Defensive back, Steve Wilson. Running back, Sammy Winder and Rosette Posey. Another of the great linebackers, Ken Woodard. Ken Woodard. Raymond Woodard and Penny. Ray. Cornerback, Louis Wright. Louis. And now Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson, right here.
Can anybody out there hear me? I just want to speak on behalf of my teammates. You can't really know how much this means to us. You know, we were pretty disappointed last night. It was a rather long plane ride home. But you have welcomed us in a way that we won't soon forget. And we're not far away. You know, we're gonna do this thing and do it right. But you guys are number one, and we love you too.
And now here is Steve Watson. Steve Watson.
You guys are the greatest. It's been a long season. Didn't come out the way we wanted it to. But I can see good things to come. We've got a great coach, and we've got the best owner in the league, Mr. Bolin. You guys stay behind us because next year things are going to get even better. Thanks again.
Steve's also here with his wife Pam and his baby Brittany. And now, Lewis Wright. I just want to say that this is unique. I think the whole world, the whole nation got a chance to see how much love we have between the team itself and the city. It's more than just a relationship. It's a love affair that I'm going to cherish forever. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are your Denver Broncos.
Of course, that is the well-known Denver Broncos scoring song, and right now we have somebody who has heard that song a lot of times, Sammy Winder. What does it make you feel like looking at a crowd like this evening?
It's great to know that, we have these kind of people behind us, and they've been behind us all year. It's not just because we went to the Super Bowl. It was from the first game against the Raiders, till now. We really appreciate it.
What was the mood on the plane coming back this morning?
Well, I think everybody was kind of solemn. We went out and played a heck of a first half. We were slugging it out, spit, lick for lick with them, and kind of let it get away the second half. But we know what kind of team we got, and the type of talent we have. I'm sure we'll be in the running again next year.
What did this crowd do to improve your spirits as you came rolling down 17th Street this afternoon?
Oh, it's just great to see so many people came out, took time out to come out and let us know that they was behind us 100% and they're still behind us. And we really appreciate that. That's something that goes a lot further than what words can say.
Okay, last thing, you got something in your hand somebody gave you on the bus. What is that there?
It's an Orange Crush record that is going through in the bus, and it kind of excited me because, they really got behind the team this year, and they really came out with a lot of little things that really motivate us and really help. It was great.
Okay, Sammy Winder, thank you very much for spending time with us. We'll see you in the Super Bowl next year. All right. Sammy Winder with us there live this evening. As he pointed out, a lot of things this crowd has done for the emotions of the Denver Broncos, who were a little down last night, but things have improved greatly here in the last couple hours. Let's go back to Bill and Bob in the studio. Bill?
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. A rather special evening in Denver where some 60 or 70,000 people turn out in order to greet and welcome a team and tell them that they love them, a team that came in second in the Super Bowl.
A team that is well-loved throughout the Rocky Mountain region. The Dan Reeves Show will be seen tonight at 10:35 here on News Center 4, and we will have more on today's welcoming home of the Broncos on the Colorado Evening News, which comes up here on Channel 4 at 6:30. For now, Bill Sternoff with Bob Palmer. We're going to join the NBC Nightly News in progress. Thank you.
Parliament, it is Watson.
Hey, Mr. Hinckley. Howard's already seen Hinckley. If Henderson isn't at Hopper's in half an hour, the deal is off. Oh.
Hello.
Smooth coffee that satisfies my innermost cravings anytime.
Well, the Broncos came home. The Giants spent another day in Southern California where Phil Simms picked up the rewards of being the Super Bowl's MVP. Simms was 22 of 25 in passing and leading New York past Denver. No other Super Bowl quarterback has been more accurate. For the Broncos now, the task for Dan Reeves and his staff is to look ahead, evaluate their players. Hard decisions are ahead. Reuben Carter, Paul Howard, Tom Jackson, Louis Wright, Steve Foley, and Billy Bryan are all that are left from that Super Bowl 12. They and the coaches will talk about
Series Premium Firm.
When you're looking for added support in a waterbed, it's the Hibernation Series. Choose from
him. A trade for him nearly happened last year, and maybe it'll happen this year. Nuggets went after a fourth straight win, meeting the Blazers in Portland tonight. Mark Allery was red hot in the first half with 12 points.
As fast as you can say blizzard. The new Center 4 has something to keep you ahead of the storm. It's Igor, an advanced weather computer that'll give you current Denver.
1 calorie, 2 calories. Hit the shower.
Okay. Try new Vlasic snack chunks. They're only 2 for specific locations throughout Colorado. It's weather information when you want it, for where you want it, including current Denver conditions, free.
Protecting the air is our responsibility. New cars are designed...
Professional. Regional companies are best served by regional...
The Nuggets' Darrell Walker and Rasmussen shot is blocked, but it still goes in. The Nuggets lead by 5 at this point. At the moment, though, the score in Portland is 122 to 119 in favor of Denver, now 123-121 in the fourth period. Seattle has beaten Utah. Detroit and Phoenix are into overtime, deadlocked at 111 to 111.
More than half a year now before we see another Bronco game. All of those saying thank goodness can raise their hands. And it may be longer before a season that matches the excitement of the one just ended. So here's a capper for the 86 season, playoff highlights set to music.
Elway to Winder. Elway's got some running room. Sewell. Oh, how did he hang on to it? Complete. He'll run. Touchdown, Mark Jackson.
The man who engineered the drive, the best damn quarterback in football, number 7, John Elway. All the teams are down. The big one's on the way. And if you think last week was good, wait till next week. We'll be dressed in orange, dressed in orange.
This is Bronco Vision.
This community has really done its utmost to support the Broncos.
Well, it's been kind of crazy.
I passed along the way. Here we come. You know we're going to Pasadena. You know we're going to Pasadena.
Have you guys been hounded by the press all morning here? No way. Are you only by you, Rod?
Elway is our leader, and I say he's number 1.
I want to know about John.
I've been all around the USA.
We're not going to go out there and sit back on anything. I mean, if they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us. We're not going to beat ourselves. You know, we're going to make them execute. I mean, they will be hit like they've never been hit before. Their receivers will be pressured like they've never been pressured before.
We're going to be intimidated by talk, you know, after 20 games or whatever, and somebody's going to tell us they're going to hit us. Tell every team we play hits hard.
One more pep rally for the Broncos, okay? Everybody.
Can't get any better than this. I mean, when we're ahead 10-9, this is it.
Where everybody was looking at the end.
Yeah.
But you look back at those highlights, at the happier moments and the great season, and you wonder what we did before we had the Broncos.
Yeah, that is right.
That's
And then there's always next year.
great.
Dan Reeves' show's coming up next.
It's nice to have you with us on News Center 4.
Good night.